Reasons WWE hasn't stripped Rhea Ripley of her women's championship. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I am Elena. Have a nice day. For the latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Rhea Ripley has been marching forward as the WWE Women's Champion since winning the gold at WrestleMania 42. However, her title reign recently faced a major roadblock after Mommy sustained an unfortunate knee injury from her match at Clash in Italy. She appeared on the following episode of SmackDown to address her situation, but has disappeared into the shadows since then. SummerSlam is just weeks away, and there has been no update on Ripley's status, neither the severity of her injury nor her return timeline. The one question that has been bugging fans is why WWE hasn't taken the title away from the Eradicator yet. The Stamford-based promotion normally strips champions of their gold in case of severe injuries, which has been the traditional norm. Here are 4 reasons WWE hasn't stripped Rhea Ripley of her WWE Women's Championship. Optimistic return timeline for SummerSlam. The primary reason WWE avoids stripping an injured champion is the estimated recovery window. When Rhea Ripley went down with an injury at Clash in Italy, the initial medical evaluation suggested that she would require a minimum recovery timeline rather than an extended multi-month absence. SummerSlam ranks as the second biggest event of WWE's calendar, which therefore makes it a critical point for major storyline payoffs. The company may be optimistic that Ripley would be back just in time for the biggest party of the summer. Her recovery seems to be going pretty well, making the Eradicator fit for the upcoming PLE. WWE featuring Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam, even if for a 5-minute match, would be better than not featuring her at the annual spectacle at all. Hence, this could be a major reason why Rhea hasn't vacated her title yet. Rhea Ripley is a major star and box office draw. Rhea Ripley is one of the biggest stars WWE has built in the women's division in recent years. She's not just a standard champion, she is the torchbearer of the promotion. Ripley has become one of the top merchandise sellers, social media metrics leaders, and primary box office draws. And such metrics often dictate creative decisions. Her being the WWE Women's Champion provides the company with massive eyeballs and huge buzz. Stripping the Eradicator of the title would dilute the prestige of the championship itself, as the belt gains immense value simply by being associated with her star power. That is not the only thing. Keeping the title on an elite draw also allows WWE to maintain high fan engagement through promotional packages, advertisements, and digital content. Hence, to keep Rhea champion is a more valuable proposition than to take the gold off her. Possible plans for Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan at Crown Jewel. One of the biggest reasons WWE hasn't made that move is to keep long-term plans for Crown Jewel unaffected. There's no denying that long-term narrative planning is the foundation of WWE's modern creative philosophy under Triple H. The bitter rivalry between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan has been a centerpiece of the women's division. It's a rivalry that is filled with betrayal, revenge, and psychological warfare. With both Ripley and Morgan now at the top of their respective divisions, a champion versus champion collision is a dream scenario, and WWE has a beautiful opportunity to make it happen at Crown Jewel this year. But by taking the title away from Mommy, the company would have fundamentally fractured this long-term creative vision. It would force WWE to introduce an unnecessary detour where Rhea would focus on another direction upon her return. Lack of a worthy replacement for the title. The SmackDown women's division has been in a pretty chaotic state lately. While newcomers like Julia, Jordynne Grace, and Jacy Jayne have been directionless, top stars like Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax have been involved in the tag team division. When it comes to Jade Cargill, her previous title reign has been a disaster and the company may not want to experiment again. Besides, Charlotte Flair might not be in discussions for another world title reign. The creative team doesn't actually have any worthy replacement for Rhea Ripley as the WWE Women's Champion at this point. The lack of a viable alternative on the SmackDown roster to inherit the title is perhaps one of the reasons why WWE hasn't stripped Rhea of her gold. Hence, Triple H may have chosen to wait for Mommy's return rather than rushing for a new champion to have a transitional title reign on Friday Night SmackDown. WWE had talks to strip Rhea Ripley of the title's exclusive. There has been talk in WE about taking the title off Rhea Ripley, Sports Key to Wrestling can now report exclusively on the situation. This author spoke to sources within WWE about Ripley's Women's Championship and if they plan to take it off her. It appears there was a discussion within the company about taking the championship from her after she was injured. Someone even proposed stripping her of it, but they decided against it. It seems there is a pathway for her to return without major changes, and as long as there are no complications from the injury, the title will stay with her. That said, there are emergency plans in place in case things go wrong. There was talk of taking the title off Rhea Ripley. The injury was restrictive enough that someone suggested it, to strip Rhea Ripley of the title, but they decided against it. As long as the injury does not get worse, there's no chance that the title gets taken off her. There are some alternate plans being made in case of emergency situations where they are forced to do it. But for now, she's definitely holding on to it, saying that, for the moment, it is unlikely the star will lose the title. However, the star has a lot to do before she returns to the ring. For the moment, it seems she won't be at SummerSlam, as she hasn't appeared on WWE TV in more than a month. Stay tuned for further updates on the status of Ripley heading into the biggest show of the summer. Backstage news on if Rhea Ripley will be stripped of the WWE Women's Championship suffered a knee injury back at Clash in Italy. But there has been no update on how severe the injury is as of writing. The women's champion missed Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia last month and could now miss SummerSlam, with WWE yet to share a timeline surrounding her return. While it's rare for champions to be injured and then stripped of their championships, it does still happen. And there was a belief that if Ripley was on hiatus past the biggest party of the summer, she would be stripped of the title. Rhea Ripley could be pushing towards a WWE return. Aside from the announcement that Ripley's knee was being assessed and making the injury official, WWE hasn't provided any updates on Ripley over the past few weeks. This means that fans are in the dark when it comes to her prognosis and the severity of the injury. It could be that Ripley is making plans to make her return in the coming weeks, but WWE wants this to come as a huge surprise for the SmackDown fans. Now that CM Punk is on SmackDown, it appears that the USA Network has what they want when it comes to a main focus of the show, but they would still be pushing for Rhea Ripley. SmackDown has struggled in recent months since it's always seen as the B-rated show, but now that it has moved back to 2 hours, it seems that it continues to struggle. There appears to be a number of changes coming for SmackDown, and Rhea Ripley's status afterward will be interesting.